Barbara W. Tuchman's A Distant Mirror. The Calamitous 14th Century is a historical narrative that examines the 14th century, a time of social, political, and economic upheaval in Europe. By focusing on the life of Enguerrand 7 de Coucy, a French nobleman, Tuchman provides a detailed view of the period's crises, including the Black Death, the Hundred Years' War, religious conflicts, and peasant revolts. The book draws parallels between the turbulence of the 14th century and modern times, highlighting the cyclical nature of history. The life of Enguerrand 7 de Coucy. Enguerrand 7 de Coucy, 1340–1397, serves as the book's central figure. As a powerful noble with ties to both France and England through marriage to Edward III's daughter, he was deeply involved in the century's major conflicts. Tuchman uses his life to illustrate the broader struggles of European nobility, the expectations of chivalry, and the harsh realities of war. De Coucy's participation in battles, diplomatic missions, and negotiations reflects the challenges faced by medieval aristocracy in a rapidly changing world. The Hundred Years' War, 1337–1453. The 14th century was dominated by the Hundred Years' War, a prolonged conflict between England and France over territorial disputes and claims to the French throne. Key events include Battle of Poitiers, 1356. The English, led by Edward the Black Prince, captured King John II of France, leading to political instability. Treaty of Bretigny, 1360, a temporary peace agreement that granted England large portions of French land. Ongoing raids and warfare. Despite peace efforts, both sides engaged in brutal raids, causing devastation to rural communities. The war also highlighted the decline of chivalry, as knights increasingly turned to mercenary work and pillaging rather than adhering to traditional codes of honor. The Black Death, 1347–1351. One of the most catastrophic events of the century, the Black Death, killed an estimated 1/3 to 1/2 of Europe's population. The plague had profound effects. Economic impact. Labor shortages led to higher wages for peasants, disrupting the feudal system. Religious reactions. Many believed the plague was divine punishment, leading to flagellant movements and persecution of Jews, who were often scapegoated. Psychological and cultural shifts. A preoccupation with death and the afterlife influenced art and literature, as seen in the Dance of Death and macabre themes in medieval manuscripts. Peasant revolts and social upheaval. The social and economic strains caused by war and plague led to major uprisings. The Jacquerie, 1358, France, a peasant rebellion against oppressive taxation and noble abuses, brutally suppressed by the aristocracy. The English Peasants' Revolt, 1381, led by Wat Tyler and John Ball. This uprising demanded economic reforms and an end to serfdom. Although it was crushed, it signaled growing unrest among the lower classes. These revolts revealed the declining power of feudal lords and the increasing assertiveness of commoners, foreshadowing social changes in later centuries. The Papal Schism and religious conflict. The authority of the Church was weakened by internal divisions. The Avignon Papacy, 1309–1377. The papal court moved to Avignon, leading to accusations of corruption. The Great Schism, 1378–1417. 2, and later 3, rival popes claimed legitimacy, dividing European rulers and weakening the Church's moral authority. Heresy and reforms. Critics like John Wycliffe in England and Jan Hus in Bohemia called for religious reforms, laying the groundwork for later movements like the Protestant Reformation. The role of women and chivalry. While noblewomen had limited rights, some wielded influence, especially as regents or in diplomatic roles. Figures like Joan of Arc, although her prominence rose in the 15th century, challenged gender norms. Meanwhile, The concept of chivalry declined, as economic pressures and war crimes eroded the ideals of knighthood. The end of an era and transition to the Renaissance. By the century's end, feudalism was weakening, centralized monarchies were emerging, and intellectual movements were gaining momentum. The 14th century's crises ultimately paved the way for the Renaissance, as Europe sought stability and rebirth in the aftermath of war, plague, and social upheaval. Conclusion. Tuchman's A Distant Mirror paints the 14th century as a period of chaos, but also one of transformation. The themes of war, disease, economic upheaval, and political strife resonate with contemporary issues, reinforcing the idea that history repeats itself. Through the life of Ingérinde Seven de Coucy, she provides a deeply human perspective on a century marked by disaster and change.